Every single year, without fail, more than 20 million human beings abandon their homes, their comfort, their routines, and walk across scorching deserts, through rain, through pitch darkness, through international borders, to reach one single city. They are not running from something, they are running towards something. A moment that happened over 1300 years ago. A single day, on a burning desert plain, with 72 men against an army. A moment so devastating, so morally seismic, so spiritually charged that it didn't just shape a religion. It changed the entire course of human civilization. This is not simply an Islamic story. This is a story about power and the corruption of power. About promises made and promises broken. About betrayal at the highest level. About what one man, surrounded, starved of water, watching his family die one by one, chose to do when the world gave him every reason to surrender. And about why, 13 centuries later, the world still cannot forget his answer. The year is 680 CE. 48 years have passed since the death of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 48 years. In that span of time, an empire unlike anything the ancient world had ever seen had been born. From a single city in the Arabian Peninsula, Islam had spread with breathtaking speed, west to North Africa, north to Persia and the borders of the Byzantine Empire, east to the fringes of Central Asia. The Muslim world had become the most powerful civilizational force on the planet. Cities, trade routes, scholarship, law, architecture, all blooming in the wake of one man's message. But beneath the surface of this glittering empire, something was cracking. When the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed from this world, he left behind a community, a ummah, united by faith, but divided by one profoundly human question that empires have always struggled to answer. Who leads next? And how is that leader chosen? That question had already ignited the first fitna, the first civil war of the Muslim world. Then a second. Blood had been spilled, agreements had been broken. The community of the Prophet was fracturing along deep and painful lines. The Umayyad Caliphate, based in Damascus and founded by Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, had emerged as the dominant political power. For nearly 2 decades, Muawiyah had governed with an iron hand, maintaining a fragile peace through a combination of diplomacy, bribery, and force. But Muawiyah made a decision near the end of his life that would echo through history like a thunderclap. He appointed his own son, Yazid ibn Muawiyah, as his successor. This was not how Islamic succession had worked before. The early caliphs had been chosen through consultation, through shura, by the senior companions of the Prophet. Even the appointment of Muawiyah himself had been contested. But now Muawiyah was creating something new, something borrowed from the monarchies of Rome and Persia, a dynasty, a throne that passed from father to son like private property. A historian of the era, Wilfred Madelung, later described this as a clear breach of the Hassan-Muawiyah Treaty, an agreement Muawiyah had made with Imam Hussain alayhi salam, the elder grandson of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the question of succession would be returned to the Muslim community after Muawiyah's death. He broke that promise, and the man who would be placed on the throne, Yazid, was not the kind of ruler the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had imagined when they dreamed of an Islamic state. Historical accounts from the era, including those compiled by scholars who were broadly sympathetic to the Umayyad cause, record that Yazid was known for public conduct considered grossly inappropriate for the leader of the Muslim world. Drinking wine openly, keeping the company of musicians and court jesters, and governing with a cruelty that shocked even those who served him. When Muawiyah died in 680 CE and Yazid ascended to the caliphate, his very first act was to demand bay'ah, a loyalty oath, from every significant figure in the Muslim world. Most complied, some out of genuine loyalty, many out of fear, some out of calculation, but 3 men refused publicly. Abdullah ibn al-Zubayr radiallahu anhu, who withdrew to Mecca and would later claim the caliphate himself. Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, who abstained without openly challenging Yazid. And then, most significantly, the man whose refusal would set the world on fire, Imam Hussain ibn Ali alayhi salam. Imam Hussain alayhi salam was not just anyone. He was not a distant political rival or an ambitious general. Imam Hussain alayhi salam had with him a 6-month-old son, Hazrat Ali Asghar alayhi salam, burning with thirst he couldn't understand. His half-brother, Hazrat Abbas ibn Ali alayhi salam, towering, fearless, the camp's standard-bearer, could not bear it. On the morning of Ashura, he rode alone toward the river, fighting through wave after wave of soldiers, and reached the water. He filled the water skin. He turned back toward the children. The enemy surrounded him. One arm was severed. He shifted the skin to the other arm. That arm was severed too. He gripped it with his teeth and pushed his horse forward. An arrow pierced the water skin. The water spilled into the sand. A second arrow struck Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam himself. He fell at the edge of the river he had bled to reach, without delivering a single drop. Imam Hussain alayhi salam knelt by his body and said, "Now my back is broken." He is remembered across the Muslim world to this day as Tragedy of Karbala, the water-bearer of Karbala. Then came the moment that defies explanation. Imam Hussain alayhi salam walked toward the army holding his dying infant son. He raised him before the soldiers and said, "If you have no mercy on me, have mercy on this child. Give him water." A soldier named Harmala ibn Kahil drew his bow and fired. The arrow struck the infant in the throat. He died in his father's arms. Imam Hussain alayhi salam caught the blood in his hands, raised them to the sky, and said, "O God, easier for me is what has happened because it is before your eyes." The night before Ashura, Imam Hussain alayhi salam released every companion from their oath, "Leave now, in the dark, with no shame." He extinguished the fire. When he relit it, every single person was still there. In that same darkness, Al-Hur, the general who had first blocked their path, crossed the field trembling and asked, "Can you forgive me?" Imam Hussain alayhi salam said, "Yes." Al-Hur fought and died the next day on his side, free as his name meant, in this world and the next. At dawn, Imam Hussain alayhi salam rode out alone and called across the field, "I am the son of the daughter of your prophet. What wrong have I done that makes my blood lawful to you?" No one answered. The battle began anyway. One by one, his companions went forward, each saying farewell, each knowing he would not return. His own son, Hazrat Ali Akbar alayhi salam, who resembled the Prophet so closely that men wept at the sight of him, asked permission to fight. Imam Hussain alayhi salam gave it. When his son fell, Imam Hussain alayhi salam knelt, pressed his cheek to his and said, "The world after you is worthless." Nephews, cousins, friends, one after another, the family of the Prophet was emptied onto the sand of Karbala. By afternoon, Imam Hussain alayhi salam stood alone. He fought on, wounded again and again. Accounts from friend and foe alike agree that soldiers hesitated to strike him. He looked to the sky and said, "O God, to you I submit." He fell on the afternoon of the 10th of Muharram, 61 AH. He was 57 years old. What followed shocked even some of the soldiers who did it. The bodies were trampled by horses. Heads were severed and raised on spears, including the head of the grandson of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The surviving women and children, including Hazrat Zainab salamullah alaiha and the ailing Imam Ali Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, were marched in chains, first to Kufa, then over 1,000 kilometers to Damascus, paraded as the defeated enemies of the state. In Kufa, the same city that had sent 12,000 letters of betrayal, Hazrat Zainab salamullah alaiha stood bound on a cart and silenced the crowd with her own words, calling out their broken promises to their faces. In Damascus, brought before Yazid himself in a city decorated for celebration, she looked at the most powerful man in the Muslim world and said, "Do you think you have humiliated us? No, by God, you have only exposed your own shame." Yazid had no answer. Even his own courtiers wept. He later claimed regret, blamed his governor, but it changed nothing. The truth was already escaping his control. The Umayyads believed killing Imam Hussain alayhi salam would end the threat. They had catastrophically miscalculated. They had created the most powerful martyrdom story in Islamic history. Within years, the penitents marched to their own deaths in atonement for failing him. Mukhtar al-Thaqafi hunted down and executed his killers one by one. Yazid himself died just 3 years later, and his empire plunged into civil war it never fully recovered from.
70 years after Karbala, the entire Umayyad dynasty was overthrown in the name of justice for the family of the Prophet. Karbala didn't just create a political memory, it crystallized an entire theological identity, and across both Sunni and Shia tradition alike, Imam Hussain alayhi salam is remembered as a man who chose principle over survival. Even outside Islam, the story traveled. Mahatma Gandhi said he learned from Hussain how to achieve victory while being oppressed. The historian Edward Gibbon wrote that no reader with a heart could remain unmoved by his death. Today, the Arbaeen pilgrimage to his grave in Karbala, Iraq, held 40 days after his death, draws over 20 million people on foot. It is the largest peaceful gathering of human beings on the face of the earth. Larger than the Hajj, larger than any event in recorded history. They come from Iran, Pakistan, Nigeria, India, the United Kingdom, the United States, every language, every background, to a grave in the desert. Because Karbala isn't a story about 680 CE. It's the story of a man offered 12,000 promises of support, who arrived to find the crowd had gone home, and kept walking anyway. It's a brother who lost both arms trying to bring water to children. It's a father holding his dying infant up to an army and asking only for mercy. It's a sister who stood in chains before a king and told him the truth to his face. It is 72 people told by the world, bend or break. And their answer was neither. Imam Hussain ibn Ali alayhi salam left behind no army, no treasury, no empire. He left behind a question and an answer. And 13 centuries later, 20 million people walk across a desert every single year to say, we heard it, we have not forgotten, we will not forget, Ya Hussein.
And 13 centuries later, 20 million people walk across a desert every single year. We heard it, we have not forgotten, we will not forget, Ya Hussein.